Hello, my name is Malik Carrington, and welcome to another episode of the Family Budget Fisherman. Got a great show today to talk about. As the title of this video is, and I want you to keep this in mind. Number one, be a savvy buyer, be a cautious buyer, be a very reserved buyer of fishing equipment. And also, remember, we buy all this fishing equipment so that we can actually go fishing. So remember to just go fishing as well. We're in the most aggressive, we're right now in December of 2019. This literally is the most aggressive month of buying and selling of anything commercial all year. And we're talking about durable goods to flimsy goods. It doesn't matter. And as it relates specifically to fishing equipment, we are in that area where we will see most overtly the most, quote, sales, discounts of items we have seen all year. There will be very few comparisons, okay? We will get caught up in so many different things because of the aggressiveness of the buying year, number one. Number two, because of the explosion of the various types of equipment that are available in the proliferation of tournament fishing, meaning whether it is Bassmasters, the Elite Series, whether it is Major League Fishing or FLW or your local or regional tournaments, all of them have fishermen who have signature series rods, signature series reels. They have baits that they have produced, all kinds of stuff. And everyone wants you to buy their product. And I say in all of that morass of communicating through you through their marketing and campaign strategies, be a savvy buyer, okay? Most of the items that you're going to see during this time period that are on sale are items, there'll be very few new items. So they're going to be items that have been in their catalog of merchandise all year long. You remember that new that new rod, that new reel that came out at the beginning of the year? Well, they still got a lot of those rods and reels, and they really want to get rid of those rods and reels. So you will eventually get to a point where you are offered a rather decent discount. Now, mind you, in one of my most previous videos, I mentioned to you for dealing with Black Friday in particular, there was nothing special about Black Friday for fishermen that you couldn't have gotten any other time of the year. That includes now. And there were some items that weren't even part of the deal. For example, some companies did not have their Shimano products, their higher end Shimano products, their higher end Daiwa products, or their higher end 13 fishing products, or Wright McGill products. They just didn't have them available as part of the discounted sales that they were offering to customers. So just understand that. Some companies had only had, major sales on their own stock, like Bass Pro Shops had their own Bass BPS series items that had a deep discount on them. Now, I'm not suggesting that companies offer us something that they can't remain in business. My only mention to you is that $200 rod that they were trying to sell you in January. They want to get rid of it now. So they may offer you 20% off. You may get it for $40 off. And it may be good for you at that particular time. But just remember that, yesterday's new item is going to be today's clearance. Shimano did something rather fantastic mid-year, is they took a $600 reel, the Stella, I think is what it's called, $700 reel, Yeah, it's a $700 reel, and took the guts of that $700 reel and for the most part put them into a $200 reel called the Shimano Stratic FL, and they sell that reel for 200 bucks. And you're not going to get that on any kind of special. One day I'll show you how you can get up to 50% off of it. Maybe, I think I can probably get it as close as 40% off of that price if I choose to purchase it. I had some people recommend in a prior video that for one of my more expensive rods that I have a Stratic as a reel. That's probably not going to happen, but if I were to purchase it, I will show you what you could do in order to get it down in price without it being on sale. Now, having said that, it's a good buy if you are already looking for that type of product. And then they discounted an older model that was very similar called the Stratic FK. So in some places, that $200 reel is now going for 150 bucks in some places. It's a pretty good deal. But that's just to show you that, you know, these goods, these items that are for sale, just remember that they are for sale because there are people who want you to purchase them. And if you don't buy them as quickly as their business plan wants you to buy them, or as in as much of a volume as their business model suggests you should, then they're going to discount them out to you eventually. Okay? Don't ever think that something is going to become more expensive later, or that you're going to get a sale that you'll never see again. The only thing you'll never see again is a clearance sale on that particular item. Any other sale, you'll see it again and again and again and again and again. But the clearance items, you probably won't see that again. Okay? So, know that you can go through all of this and you can purchase your fishing equipment and have a great time purchasing equipment if you do that. So take your time and pace yourself. No matter what ads you see, take a look at your family's budget and make sure that you can afford that. Number one, set up a budget separately. Maybe you award yourself 25 bucks a month. Maybe you collect cans and other recyclables and make that part of your budget. Maybe you take the extra change off of something and make that part of your budget. Some people do more, some people do less. But just make sure that if you're going to put aside $50 or so, or if you're going to have a birthday or a special day, Father's Day, Mother's Day, there's a lot of mothers who love to fish. My wife certainly loves to fish. So make sure that you have a budget set aside so you can afford these items and stick hard to your budget. And what I mean by hard, I don't mean rock solid. I mean just under rock solid. You can go a few cents over, but I don't recommend that you need to do that most of the time. Now, the other thing is, don't forget to go fishing. Don't forget that the reason why you bought all these fishing equipment is because you need to get out there and go get that crappie, get that bass, get that bluegill, get that striper, get that salmon, get that trout, get that sturgeon if that's where you're going. Do your inshore fishing and go out there and get some of those same, especially Andromeda species. Get out there and do some good fishing. And get them good. I'm presenting this video to you because after this video, I'm going to do my rod and reel arsenal for 2020. And I'm going to show you some of the things that I am going to be using for 2020. I'm going to be using some more expensive items and then some less expensive items, but my arsenal will change. And it will change because my style of fishing has changed. And I'm going to focus more on what we're going to do while fishing than I have been in in all the videos leading up to the present one. I want to share with you some of the techniques that I've learned that will be very helpful to you. For example, there's a technique that I learned from Scott Martin, famous bass fisherman from the FLW circuit, on how to turn a Texas rig to a Carolina rig. I thought it was incredible. And I said, I'm going to be doing that. And I'd like to show that to you just the same. So there'll be other techniques, and I'll get out and use those techniques. And so I want you to be able to see how a lot of my equipment is being used, where we go fishing. I'm the kind of guy, as long as it's safe for me to be out fishing, I will go out fishing. And I'll tell you, I don't skunk. I haven't skunked in, oh goodness, Lord. It's been 2 years probably since I've skunked. It's just as a general rule, I don't skunk. Now, I don't always get off the water with the fish that I wanted to catch when I was out there, but I always catch fish, always. And I want to share with you tips and techniques to increase your fishing so that you don't skunk. I'm a multi-species fisherman. So by definition, I'm not going to, the windows of opportunity to skunk for me are a lot more narrow than it would be if I am species specific. If I'm only going for bass or only going for crappie or only going for bluegill, etc., etc. My window is I catch everything. There'll be days when I get out there and want to catch a bunch of catfish. And I'll get out there and catch that catfish. So 2 things. Be a savvy buyer for this season. I would even recommend that you maintain a good portion of your budget for January and February. And if you want to see some competitive discounts for fishing equipment, remember, all eyes are on the retail stores right now. And people are expected to come in to these retail establishments and and purchase items. But that same kind of rush does not exist a week after, say the first week of January, second week of January. My recommendation to you is, if you can hold out during those times and see what kind of offers you get then. Now, maybe the first week after the buying season is over, first week in January, you may not get very many notable discounts, but by the second week, third week, when those companies that tried to sell you everything, including the walls and the paint in their buildings, and you didn't buy it, they really want to sell you the walls and the paint in mid-January, late January. So save your budget and see what you come up with. As I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, I bought some Shimano rods. I paid $200 a rod. Bought 4 rods, $200 a rod. And as an incentive for me to purchase those rods, they threw in free rods, 4 free rods that were $160 a piece. So do the math here. The rods I purchased were $200 a piece. The free rods were $160 a piece. So once I got rid of those rods that I did not want, what is my out-of-pocket cost? Effectively $40 a rod. Yep. And that was in January. So that kind of deal did not exist in December, and it probably would not have. So in everything you do and all of your getting, get out there and get your best opportunity to get the best value, bang for your buck with this fishing equipment, and then turn around and use it to the best of your ability. So you can get out there and have create great memories for you and your family. And so as I close with this, be careful out there. The weather is bad during these times. Some people don't even go fishing. I don't suggest that you be in there because not everywhere is a snowstorm, windstorm, rainstorm. There are some places that are just cold, you know. So get out there as long as it's safe for you to get out there and fish, and get out there and try to break your personal best without trying to break your family's budget. I'll talk to you next time.